Hi, my name is Listener, and today we will be discussing the different rollout systems. First, we'll be discussing for Chrome, and secondly, Flickr. We'll be discussing their deployment strategies and the tools, some of the tools they use, and so forth. So let's get started. So we all know, well, most of us know Google Chrome. So Google Chrome is basically a web browser. One of its processes, which is referred to as pipeline release, it aims to take the browser branch from the developer to beta to a stable channel. So there's basically three different channels. We have the developer branch, we have the beta testing, that's where you do all the testing and so on, and the stable branch, which is basically the trunk of the main branch. Some of the philosophies are to approach software as online web service, and to treat releases as getting features out to the client and not as goals. So before I go into the development side, we'll show what happens on the user side. Basically, most of the stuff on the user side is automated with like updates, and whenever new features are added, most of the times that happens automatically. On the developer side, we have, which I said, we have three channels: development, beta, and stable. Developers, they work in a single channel trunk, which is the main, where the main development takes place, and branches stem from that trunk. Maybe like new features, you have to add new features, you make a branch off of the main trunk. And a stabilizing branch, which you pull the changes from the trunk. So this is the first, well, I should say the early release schedule that they had. They had a lengthy one, and whenever the changes were made, you had to merge the branch with all the required patches, which took quite a long time. And after that was done, the merge had to be stabilized. That means like the bugs and all of that, in testing, all of that had to be taken into consideration. This would normally take between 1 to 3 months. So between 1 to 3 months, Chrome would release, updates and so on. But they found out that this procedure, it was not as effective as they would have liked. So they made up some goals. Their goals were to shorten the cycle, to make more predictable and an easier scope, to make things more manageable, and to reduce strain on the entire team. So this is an image of the improved cycle, where they have a 12-week cycle, 6 weeks on development and 6 weeks on beta testing, and the rest of the time is spent to stabilize the information. So now we can have overlapping releases. That means that they have this system where if a feature isn't ready, they will just roll it into the next cycle. So even if they might be, let's say, behind on schedule, they can always roll it into the next cycle, next development cycle. They also had something called flags, where you can turn on and off features in the configuration settings. So they might have like 90% done of the feature, and they could just like in the configuration settings turn it off and deploy the app. So next time it comes around, they already have 90, they could just add the other 10% and then push that entire product out, new feature out. So this is the improved release schedule, which I was just explaining, which is basically a 12-week process. So all branch point end at the development cycle, and features are easily turned off, which I was just speaking about the flags. So this is an example of the release process. We have different colors to represent different branches. So the horizontal lines are released to users, and I think the red are developers, the developers branch. The yellow is beta, and the green is secure. Sorry. So basically the main goals is to keep the trunk shippable. So whatever Chrome does, whenever they make changes, they make sure that the changes they make, you can always ship that out. That product can always go live, basically. And you have enough automated testing, and so on to help them out with that. So some of the developer tools they use is this is a Buildbot. It's a job scheduling system that allows them to queue jobs and so on, and view the required resources and find out the reports and results on those. And basically, in conclusion, this entire process helps Chrome puts out a new release every 6 weeks. If new features aren't ready, they wait for the next release, just like waiting on train at Grand Central. You just wait for the next schedule. Okay, so on to Flickr. Who is Flickr? Flickr is basically an online management, file sharing, accessing, organization, editing tool that we use. And some of the philosophies in Twitter are very much different than Chrome. Flickr refers to its process as a continuous delivery. Every change by every developer works its way all the way out to the final production. Statement that I read about is every developer knows is when you commit, deploy your shit. That means every time you commit, they want you to deploy whatever it is. So the environment is built on a LAMP stack, and they deploy around 10 times per day on average, maybe during the week like 80 times. And they use a subversion instead of Git for version control. So basically they have this structure, the development, a testing, a stage, and then the production environment. So okay, some of the automated processes at Flickr is sharing and meaningful merits, which basically is a system that allows them to see how much CPU usage their site, the user comes on the site, how much CPU usage they're using, how long does it take to, actually when they click on that image to view it, and all those good information. Automated testing, Flickr uses Hudson to auto test their whenever they do like changes and so on. They use also Chef in the background, which is it's on the server, and they have one-click rollbacks where, say they put in changes, they made changes, and the changes that they made were something probably went wrong, so they have this button where you just click it and you go back to the previous version. And they have rapid feedbacks with deploy logs and so on. In the development process goes where the developer writes the code, he reviews it, he tests it, and then after doing that he checks the deploy logs, and then he stages it. He tests it again. see, you know, if there are any errors and so on, and then he deploys it. So this is basically an image that's how their deploy logs look. Deployment logs, basically they have deploy statuses where if it's good or if it's bad, and the deployment going on that day and the time too. And in the next process they have the staging, which is basically to test the final push or whatever they did. So they have this interface that you can check out all the assets or whatever you need is in there. It will give you basically an OK and so on, an OK status. And next is deployment, where whenever they pass the staging test, everything looks good, then comes the time to deploy it to make it live. And that's the part where it's an automated system, like the guy was saying. It's a bunch of checkboxes and so on. You have to go through like an entire process to actually make the changes go live. At Flickr they have a few failsafes where they have feature flags, just like in Chrome. It's a technique used to turn some functionality of your application off. And they have dark launches where they run all the background processes for a particular feature or task. Most of these dark launches are done like behind in the back, so like the user won't see any of this. So this basically is done before it goes live, the site goes live. Make sure everything is in order, is working. In conclusion, this process enables 10 developments a day, 10 pushes basically, and less constraints of the IT operations team. So basically these are the two companies I chose. They're very much different. One making commits every 12 weeks and one making 10 deploys a day and so on. So yeah, I hope you liked it. Thanks.